Hi everyone, it is time to start the second page of the Halloween Tinies by Agotapop from the Halloween special by Colouring Heaven. Sorry it's a bit glary, but when we come in closer hopefully you'll be able to see it better. It's always a bit tricky getting the balance quite right. There we go. So we have got, let's try and hold it still. So we've got our mortar and pestle and bottles and things hanging up. It's a very interesting page where we're obviously making some sort of potion. So let's get started. I'm just going to work my way around along here, I think, first. So we've got a little bone. Now we've done a few bones from the pictures on the previous page. And I used my ivory. This is some Polychromos, by the way. This is what we're going to be using. So I'm going to do this the same on this one. Now, I need to sharpen it a little bit. It's very hard to see, even in real, on the camera probably, even more difficult. But I'll put it in anyway. And there's another bone here which I'm just going to do as well because it's going to be the same. I just figure I might as well do them both at once. There we go. Now I am going to get disturbed in the middle of this video and have to disappear off. Obviously it's not going to impact you too much, this is raw umber, but I'm going to do a little bit in there. I'm not on the other bones. I did a little bit around the outside. I don't think I'm going to do that because this one is so small I'm going to end up colouring over all of it. This one I'm going to put a little bit of the raw umber there. I might put a bit down the side. Yeah, I'm waiting for my husband to get ready so that we can go for a walk. But I wanted to get on with this. I've got a lot to do today and I wanted to do this because some of these, because I love them, relaxing and fun. I'm going to use the Venetian red for my mushroom. Now I'm going to just do this outside bit. The inside bit's going to be a different colour, and I'm going to just put on a layer to start with. So we're popping out. We need to go to the supermarket. We're just popping out for a walk, but I've got up earlier than him, so he isn't ready yet. He's sorting breakfast and all sorts of things. He keeps getting I'm making the edges a bit darker, more intense I should say. He's been getting carried away chatting to the children and stuff as well. So anyway, but there we go. I'm going to get a darker colour. So I thought I'd just leave him to get on and get himself ready at his own pace, and burnt to calm me, because if he knows that I'm waiting, I'm sort of delaying getting on with this while he's getting ready. He'll feel rushed and uncomfortable. So it's easier for me to just do a bit of this while he's getting ready. So I'm just putting a slightly darker one on the edge. Now in that centre where it's lighter, I still want a little bit of colour. Oops, I to grasp the pencil. My fingers are a bit cold. I should have my wrist warmers on. I'm using this one. On mine it's light flesh. This is the beige red. I've got an old version with the old name. Quite a few of the pencils changed their names over the years. If you go onto the Polychromos or Faber Castell's website, it's got a list of like the magenta's changed name. I can't remember the geranium lake. I think I can't remember. There's quite a few of them. Some of the phthalates I think changed. Right, so inside I'm going to do a dark brown. I often think that's how I imagine them to be. I don't know if it's right, but it's how I do it. So I'm going to use my burnt umber. It's really dark, so I'm not going to push too hard. I'm just going to put a layer, a really actually much lighter layer than I did with the red, just to start with. And then think about where it's going to be darkest. If you imagine that it's going to be shadow down in there. So I think along this line here is going to be the darkest, and then I'm just going to scumble it up towards the edge to fade it a bit. Sorry, try and get my hand out of the way. Same here, so a layer here, and then just sort of scumble it up. You don't have to be too precise, but I think it just helps us with imagining that that bit's behind that bit, sort of thing. Now the stems I usually do a bit lighter. Let's get a warm grey, a warm grey 3. I often think they could do with being a little bit browner than I do them, but if I had a French grey, that's what I'd use. So I've done a dark strip either side. You can see I've got a white bit down the middle. I'm just going to gently go over that a little bit. I want it to be lighter but not white. So that's that. Now we have a little plant next. Now I think that looks a bit like rosemary. I don't know if you agree. So I'm going to use a pine green. It's quite dark. I was thinking rosemary's quite dark. Well, it depends which side you're looking at, because has a sort of greyish colour on the back of the leaves, doesn't it? It's not really rosemary. They're definitely not long enough, but it feels like it should be some sort of magical herb. I guess it could be. I was thinking it could be. What's that? I can't think of the name. But the one I'm thinking of, it would be too small, the leaves. The leaves are teensy weensy. It's not sage, they're big leaves. Oh, I don't know. Never mind. Doesn't matter. So there's that one. Now we have another mushroom. We could do it the same. I think we'll do it slightly different, just to make it more interesting. Go for a more browny colour. Let's go for this burnt ochre. Now on our other page, all of our colours were sort of cold colours. We had purples and blues and bluey greens and things like that, and pinks. Here I've realised I'm moving towards a more warm palette, but you can see what I'm doing. I'm over colouring the edges a bit more. I don't know why. I've just decided to do a warmer palette for this bit, but we've got love potions and things. I don't know. We might go and do some pinks. So terracotta. I'm just going to do a little bit extra with the edge. There we go. Looks quite a nice colour, doesn't it? Now the inside, again, dark. I'm going to use a different dark brown, just so it looks different to our other mushroom, because I don't want them looking the same, as we've tried to make them look a bit different. Got another one as well, I've just noticed. Got lots on the next picture too. Lovely. So this is the burnt sienna. So it's a little bit more orangey. And instead of doing just a layer to start with, I'm just going to go dark here and then fade towards the edge right away. There. And then the long stem. I'm going to use the nougat. Let's do a brown. You know, I said, oh, I always do it grey. Maybe I should do it. Let's do it brown. I just sharpened it a little bit. I don't know if I sharpened it enough. We'll find out, won't we? I'm actually just going to block this in. It's so skinny. A little skinny stem. There we go. Now, I think this is definitely a leaf. These, I think, are feathers. But this one, leaf. So we'll go for a green. I might go for a bit of an autumnal look, actually. So I'm going to start with the olive green yellowish and put a bit here. So intensely at the base, and then fade it up a little bit like that. Then grab a May green and go over it all and bring the colour up towards the tip. And the tip we're going to do yellow or red? Yellow. I think I need to sharpen my yellow. It is the Naples yellow. I want a more browny yellow. I think it'll go better with those greens. Oh, I just looked out the window while I was oh, it's so bright. Oh, my eyes are blinking, going funny. The sun is right out there. There we go. Okay. Feathers. Now we could go for realism, greys, browns. We could go for fantasy, pinks, blues, whatever. I think I'm going to do this one in greys. I'll just show you how to do it. In a grey. This is the Cold Grey 5. Now you can use this technique with any set of colours. If you want blues, you can go take your darkest blue now, your darkest pink, your darkest purple, your darkest green, whatever colour you want to do. Now I'm going to just incorporate this stem into my line here. Do you see a line all the way through? I'm going to do this on the other side, and then just do a slightly more faded line there and there. This is going to be quite similar to the feather we did yesterday's video. I actually did colour it yesterday too, like that. A little bit on that tip there. Now when you're using the greys, it's quite easy because you can easily know which is the next colour. Which is the next colour? Well, this is the 5, we go to the 4. You know, it guides us through. With the other colours, there isn't always that easy progression. I mean, with the blues you've got light, middle, dark phthalo, and with the greens you've got light, middle, dark phthalo as well, so that helps you a little bit, but quite often it isn't always that simple. But it can just be a case of trial and error, or do a bit of scribbling on a bit of scrap paper. And now I do this sort of liney thing because I think that's what feathers look like. They have little lines in them. I'm just trying to imitate the texture. Next, our very huge Cold Grey 3. I have got a new one of these, but I haven't switched it out yet. This one isn't quite small enough yet to switch it out. I made an order of some new pencils. Now you could leave it there. It looks quite silvery, doesn't it? But I'm just going to use one last colour, the next grey, just sharpening it because I do need it sharp. Cold Grey 2. And what I'm going to do with this one is just cover over a little bit. I want to leave some of that white there, but let me just show you. I'm just going to go there and there and there. So I'm going to break up that line with a few bits of my colour like that, so it doesn't look quite such a solid contrived line. It might be hard to see in this close because it's not that close, but hopefully you get that. Right, the next feather, I'm going to do in browns, and I'll show you a mix of browns to do. Should we start with, no, it's quite small, so we probably aren't going to get through 4. We might manage to squeeze 3 in there. So let's start with the walnut brown. Now this bit I'm going to do again with the brown like I did with the grey on the other one. You might prefer to have a grey bit down the middle, but I think because it's so little, it's going to be really difficult. And a little bit of this dark brown on the edge. I'm not going to start that sort of feathery technique yet. I'm just going to get a line. Now on our next colour. Oh, I think this one will work. This is the Van Dyke brown. Just give it a sharpen. It's quite small, my Van Dyke brown. My browns are all running out at the moment. My Prisma browns are all really short too. So here I'm doing this sort of liney thing. I'm almost doing a zigzag, but because my pencil isn't the sharpest it could be, you can't see each individual stroke that clearly, but that's fine. We don't need to. It's just about trying to build a bit of texture there. There we go. And then we'll grab this one. This is the bistre. Yeah, sounds like my husband's really busy getting ready, nattering to my son. He's only just got up, to be fair. I haven't seen him bistre. I don't think he saw him last night either. The thing is, when my husband comes in from work, he cooks, and then by the time he's cooked and he gets involved in TV, my one son is in his room playing, and then on his computer, all doing uploading and stuff. I'm going to use one last colour, brown ochre, and I see him when he comes down for his shower, because I'm usually in bed, and he'll come and have a natter to me when he's procrastinating brushing his teeth. And his dad isn't usually there. He doesn't come up that early. So again, just a few lines and bits there. There we go. We've got a brown. It looks like sort of bronzy and silvery, quite nice. Little mushroom here. Should we do it a really different colour? You can stick to these earthy tones. I was thinking blue, and now I'm thinking no, I do want to stick to an earthy tone. I contradict myself. I'm going to try the cinnamon. I don't know how dark it's going to get. We'll give it a go, see what it looks like. Now this mushroom does have little dots on. We can fill those in with a pen at the end. So I'm really blocking this in because I want to see how dark it goes. Not dark enough for my liking. I am going to grab the burnt carmine again and do a little bit of work at the bottom here. That's filling that in. I think the edges could do with just being a bit darker. There we go. Now we have, I've used so many colours already. The little stem. I think I might use the warm grey too. I'm just picking out, I'll be using all the pencils in the tin soon enough. There we go. And then this little bit, I mean we could do it the same green as this, the pine green. I think I'm just going to do it the juniper green, just so it's a little bit different. Why not? As I say, all the pencils in the tin. Yes, it looks like it's going to be a dry day today. So, be okay going out for a walk. Okay, so now, let's have a look. We've got a bottle of poison. Can you see the skull and crossbones on here? I'm wondering what's the best thing to do. Do we... What's that? This. Is that a moon on the bottle, or is that the water sloshing because it's at a funny angle? Is it a bit of sort of smoke? I'm thinking it's poison. Let's do it black. It's fun, isn't it? And then we'll leave the skull and crossbones white. So I want it to be dark on the edge. I know it's black, but we can still do different shades of black. So we can reduce the amount of layers as we come towards the middle of our bottle, so that it's a little bit lighter, and hopefully give a little bit of shape. Make it, I think the base needs to be quite dark though. Now I'm being quite careful to try and avoid colouring on top of the bones here, but actually I could just go over them with a white pen. But I'm just going to ignore that bit for a minute and think about it once I'm done. So I want that bit to be a bit lighter. So with Polychromos, as you probably know, or any pencils similarly hard, you need to layer them up to get more intensity of colour. So if you're seeing too much white through, or it's just not intense enough, then you just put another layer on top. And with most paper, you can do that. Some paper is better than others, as you would expect. Now these bubbles here, and I know. Let's use a cold grey 6. and so it's not quite black. And so this, I'm going to try and make it look a bit smoky. I don't know whether it's supposed to be like vapour. I've got no clue. And these I'm going to do in this colour. Now the stopper on the bottle, I was thinking we could make that black as well. It'd be fun. So I'm going to go all the way around the edge with a really dark, and then slowly reduce my layers as I go up to there. So it looks a little bit lighter just in that top bit there. There we go. But the glass of the bottle I'm going to do in a cold grey. I need to find my cold greys. They're all out already, aren't they? Here we go. And the cold grey 3, because I want this to be a see-through bottle. So what we do is on the neck, we just layer up on the edge and reduce to the middle, and the other side like that, and then down this side, and then less towards the centre, and hopefully it helps to give the bottle a little bit of shape and to look a bit glassy, and we can get a white pen at the end and just draw some sort of lines on to make it look a bit more shiny. And we've got a really cute little one here. We've got a little stopper. It could be cork, it could be a rubber bung or whatever. I think we'll make both of the stoppers cork, we'll make them the same. So brown ochre. I'm only doing a light layer because cork is quite pale. I don't have the right shade of beige in this set. Some colours you can make and some colours you can't. In this set, making beige is very hard because we don't have the light colours. So I just do my best with brown and hope. So I'm going to grab the bistre and put a tiny bit on top. This time a little bit more on the edge than the centre, to start to just emphasise the shape. I mean, cork isn't shiny, but if we can make it slightly shadowy on the edges, it looks a little bit more. And then cork has little dots, so draw your dots on if you want to. Doesn't have to be even, just a few dots and dips and dabs. Now this looks very pretty. What I'm going to do is do it a coloured bottle with this little pattern painted on it. That's how I visualised it. Well, I haven't visualised anything, I can't do that, but if you know what I mean. Envision, that's the same word. I don't know. Imagine, no. I don't know what I'm saying. So I'm going to use the permanent green to do these two little bits here and here and here. Now I'm blocking them in quite hard. I'm imagining these are leaves and this is a flower that's just been splodged onto my, that's how I'm imagining it. And I want this colour. This is the manganese violet. It's been put away in the wrong place. There we go. Just give it a sharpen. Oh, excuse me. Again, blocking it in quite hard because I know what's coming up, so I know it needs to stand out. The bottle I'm going to do in blue. And I was going to do it really dark, but I've decided to use the cobalt blue greenish. And I'm thinking this is an antidote to the poison, and so it's got a pretty little colour on it. Now the top here would be reflecting the light. We're thinking glass. I'm thinking glass. So I'm going a little darker here and lighter towards the middle and not too dark. Okay. But this bit isn't going to be reflecting the light so much. So I'm going to put a darker line around the edge like that, and then sort of fade it towards the middle. Like that. And leaving still a little line so we can see that it's sort of shiny glass. I mean, I suppose it could be completely painted, but that's not and then a bit under the rim there where there would be a shadow. Okay, quite simple really. Now we've got this bit and this bit which look like this and this, don't they? So I'm going to grab the two colours I use. So this is the juniper green, which I used for this one. I'm going to use it for this slightly larger bit. Why not? So again, a little more intense at the base and lighter to the tip. And work all the way along. It's quite straightforward. Now I'm thinking this is a flower, so I shall colour that in pretty in a minute, but I'm just going to use my pine green to do those. Okay. There we go. Forgot to breathe in for a minute. Right, the flower I'm going to do in the light magenta. I just need to sharpen. Now I'm going to start with a layer of light magenta over the whole thing quite lightly. And then I'm going to grab the magenta and darken a few areas. Now the magenta is very much darker than the light magenta, so I'm going to use it quite sparingly. So do a bit along here and here, just gently fill that in, because I'm thinking maybe that flower, that's the centre of the flower and it's a bit different. A little bit here for shadow and just here. So husband is yapping to son so loudly. I'd be surprised if you can't hear him, but it's nice that they're having a chatter. But it's 10 o'clock, maybe too late going out. He was saying to me this morning, oh, are you sure you're coping with all the video making and stuff? Is it too hard for you? You seem to have a lot to do. I was like, yeah, I've got a lot to do. It's not too hard. I'm enjoying it. This is, I'm thinking granite. Why not? I don't want to do it. You know, my mortar and pestle are white, but I'm going to go with the cold grey 5. Make it a dark one. Darker here on the edge. I'm going to go lighter towards the middle and just gently layering up. And I said, no, I like doing this. It's great. But the thing that gets me stressed is when I have so much to do in the house that it takes time away from it. And, you know, I didn't go as far. I was going to have a talk with him when we go out that, you know, he's now only working 3 days a week. And I'd always thought that that would mean that I would get more help, you know. But I asked him to bring the washing down this morning. So he brought the washing down and put it in front of the washing machine, you know. And it's like, did it not occur to you that maybe putting it on, I mean, I know it's only a little tiny job that I can do in about 2 minutes, but it's just that lack of thought. Then that's the thing that I find difficult, is the organisation. You know, he says, oh, you're really good at organising everything and everyone. It's like, someone has to do it. It's not a case of this bit I want a bit lighter, of me being good at it. It's the case that I have to do it because no one else does, and if I didn't, nothing would just get done, or we'd be constantly struggling because we had no clean clothes or no food in the fridge, or you know. And so it's just, but I sort of, you know, I asked him to do something and then he needed help with it and didn't want to do it on his own and blah blah, and I thought I could have just done it quicker on my own without even. So this is, I think, where the problems start to come, where you do it with your kids as well. You think, well, it'd be quicker if I just do it. So you see, I'm making it a bit darker here to sort of show that it's more shadowy in the lower part and inside the mortar. Is that the pestle? Is that the mortar? I think so. So I'm going to do this the same colour. So I'm going to make it a darker around the edge and a bit lighter in the centre, just to show the rounded shape. Yeah, and you make the same mistake with your kids, I've always done, where you think, well, if I get them to ask them to tidy their room, it's going to take them ages and they're going to get bored and upset and blah, so it's just much quicker if I do it, and that sort of thing. Now I have got my kids helping a lot more, so they always help me when I'm cooking, unless they've got urgent studies, and they help with the cleaning and things like that, so I've got them helping, and it's good, and they've grown up being shown how to do it, so it's great. But the husband is more difficult. You can't tell him he's got to do it your way. It doesn't work like that, does it? We have a pretty little set of leaves here. We could do it like this one. So we used I've just found the bunch of colours I used. So the olive green yellowish was the first one that we used at the base. We'll do that for these. But getting there. And I think with his ADHD it makes things a little bit trickier. But I think his symptoms have got worse as he's got older as well. I think his ability to cope. May green, I think it's to do with stress levels and things building up. It's weird, isn't it? Because you would think that as we got older, we would get better at knowing how to deal with our stress, and we would get coping mechanisms that would work. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels like it builds up and up and up and makes it, find it harder to cope. This is Naples yellow. I think for some reasons, sometimes it's partly because we have more responsibility as we get older, you know, mortgage, kids, that sort of thing, retirement costs and looking after our parents and all those things that people have. Fortunately, I don't have all of those at the moment, but you know, it happens. Got a love potion, so I love potion, but I'm going to do a big pink heart with the fuchsia on the front. So yeah, that could partly be it. But I find it quite interesting. My dad, who is now retired, he's paid off his mortgage, he's got plenty of money. He usually, not always, but usually has money left over at the end of the month because he's got a good pension. He has no need to worry. This is Pink Madder Lake, and he can get himself in a real stress. He used to be stressed when he was at work, but he still can now. He's retired. And yet my mum has this like, well, I've got high blood pressure, she says, so I can't get stressed because it'll make my blood pressure go up, so I refuse to. I'm like, wow, how do you do that? I refuse. I just refuse. It's like, wow, how? And she does get a little bit worried about things, but I think she just tries to push it away. And my kids say that's bad for you to just try and push it down and not. But I think it's getting the balance there, isn't it? The whole mindfulness and things is quite useful. You know, if you're worried about the future and you've put everything in place to do everything you can to make yourself a good future as you can, then it's probably better to try to hope that it's going to be good rather than worrying. You know, I think if you are spending too much money and you are coming up to retirement and you don't think you're going to have enough, then yes, it's probably better to try and do something about it than just worry. I can do these little circles. But if you are sorted, doing the best you can, it's probably better to try to forget about it a little bit, not worry about it too much. I'm going to try the cold grey too. I don't know if it's going to be a little bit pale for our top of our bottle. I'm going to give it a go. So a bit darker here and lighter to the middle So, you know, I don't worry about retirement too much anymore because I have a plan in place where I can potentially earn money still. I have ideas of that. I mean, I'm a long way off, you know, I'm at least 15 years or something off, so it's quite a long time. So I have a plan in place where I think I could still earn money if I needed to, and I could do it even if my health wasn't perfect, which I'm lucky with that I have this ability, and that I've already does. So I'm just stopping to wipe my nose before I carry on with our little sack. I always find sackcloth quite hard to colour, working out what colour it should be. I think I'm going to use the, trying to find the right colour amongst nougat. I've used every colour, I'm trying to find them all. I haven't used every colour. I'm going to do it lightly all over with the nougat to start with. Yeah, so I've got a plan and we've got some money behind us because we've saved up now and things like that. So, and we own our house now. We're very lucky. It's certainly not something I take for granted. We know that we're lucky and a lot of people don't have that. Now that my sister still owes quite a lot on her mortgage, and she downsized as well to try to reduce her mortgage so that her husband could work part-time, but now they can't move because their income isn't very high, so they can't get a different mortgage. They've got themselves into a bit of a situation. Can you see I'm just trying to emphasize these creases that have been drawn in to put a bit of shadow. Now what I'm going to do is go over the top of that with a brighter colour. I'm going to use the brown ochre. It's a nice warm brown. Let's gently go over the whole thing. You can see it's only a very light layer. Just to slightly burnish, slightly brighten. Now with sacking, I always think there's a bit of a weave. I'm going to have a go. So I'm just going to put a few lines on it. You don't have to do this bit. I'm trying to follow the sort of shape of the bag. Maybe should have used a bit of a darker pencil. In fact, I might grab a darker one in a minute. But yeah, so because I've put these different things in place, I'm actually going to do that again with the Van Dyke brown because I don't think it shows up well enough. I can relax a little bit when it comes to that. I know that there's finance there. We have various plans in place, so we're very lucky. But you know, that's why I like planning, because then you can make sure you're happy and you've got things going on that are gonna work for your future. You don't have to worry about it. There we go. But it has meant that we've had to spend less. So whereas my husband's family have sent their children, permanent green olive, to private school, or I'm just doing this leaf, they've gone on foreign holidays. Not that I don't have a wish to do that, but I'm just, you know, giving an example. They've done, they go on holiday every year, earth green, yellowish, and things like that. And they have a bigger house, bigger cars, more cars. They've bought their kids' car, you know, all that stuff. Whereas we haven't done that, but it means that we have a future planned out, which is good. I mean, they might as well. They might just earn more money. I mean, I don't know. This is leaf green, but we've just been careful to... also, we've both always been working full-time. Well, actually, that's not true. I worked part-time when the boys were young. I couldn't cope. I struggle now. sort of working full time now, and it's tricky. Now I'm going to use the green gold on this sort of medallion. I don't really know what it's called. And I'm going to use the green gold on it here and colour it in just lightly to start with. And what I'm thinking is that this is a sort of gold. I'm going to do that that maybe this rim is a little bit higher than this bit in here. So I'm going to get the brown ochre to start with, and I'm going to go around the very edge of this rim, the very edge of the whole thing, with after sharpening my pencil. Telephone's ringing. Oh well, family are about, they can grab it. Around the edge, and then around there, and now I'm going to grab the burnt umber, just put it inside there, just a bit of shadow along the back, and phone's ringing again. Okay, let's put it back straight. Now we need to do a little bit of pen work. I'm going to start with the white pen and do the edge of this bottle like that and there. Now if you want to, you can do your skull and crossbones. I'm quite happy with how mine is, to be honest. A bit of that. I'll put a few dots on our flower there, then a few white marks on there to show the shine, and then this bottle as well. So a line down here. Pen doesn't want to work. There we go. A little bit here too. And then on our mushroom, remember I said I was going to put a few in. There we go. Now we've also got some in the background, so I'm actually going to use the glitter pens like we have been using for the others. So the Stardust glitter pen, I'm going to use the pink one, which is this number 720, and I'm just going to do little dots in the background like that. I think that's all of them. Yeah, I think we're done. So I'm going to leave that one there. So thank you for watching today. We've got an interesting looking cauldron to do tomorrow, but for now I'm going to go. Have a lovely day and happy colouring.